rid of the nursery, and of the fact that we are right in this, that Goldsmiths needs a nursery, that everyone who works there is owed a job, that the kids are owed a nursery, and that parents are owed childcare. We have one message of support from Darren Johnson,
He's a councillor for Green Party
local councillor, so Kirsty could read that out.
Okay, here we go. Lewisham Green Party fully supports Goldsmiths students and others fighting to save nursery provision at Goldsmiths College. With no nursery provision, Goldsmiths is going to find it difficult to continue attracting a broad range of students from diverse backgrounds, and we urge the college authorities to reconsider and safeguard this vital resource. And we also have apologies from the UCU branch at Lewisham College and Lewisham Adult and Continuing Education.
Okay, anyone from the nursery campaigning the parents, any of the kids who want to say anything, what we should really be doing is just, I think, maybe doing some decoration. The kids will probably show the way. There's lots of chalk here to give a clear message. People who haven't read the leaflet, read the leaflet. The facts are there that the future of the nursery should be maintained, should be guaranteed, and that our case for it was basically rejected without all the facts coming out.
Will it be too much to just... Excuse me, is it possible that we can chat with you for 5 minutes just to have our views?
We better have our meeting, but you've written to me about your views and we're considering your views.
Can we wait for you after you come out of the meeting, and can we give you, because we got an issue here, which is if it closes in 2 months' time, I have to call my boss and say I'm not coming to work. And that means I have to be like that for a whole year, because the waiting list of any other nursery is a whole year. Even when now other nurseries are closing down, that makes things absolutely impossible for us. And second, I think we deserve a full year at least. This cannot be closed just like that. You at least, if you're going to close this anyway, because the moves are going ahead behind our backs, we were never called. Well, we were never called for a meeting to know about this. They gave us an ultimatum, and that's how it was. And I'm sorry, maybe that wasn't you. I apologize. I don't want to directly to you. But at the end of the day, we need to get a full year to do that transition, and that is what is common sense. And I think it should be behind Goldsmiths policy to be decently like that. You know.
First, the key thing I'd like to say to you, if there are, whatever the decision, we're now looking at what you've said to us, so it'd be wrong to presume an outcome from that. But if there are individuals with distress, real individual problems like the one you've described, we will look at each and every one.
4 parts in my department. The main individual is everybody.
We will look at every. No, I appreciate that, but I'm not presuming the outcome of this.
I'll give you one example. I work part-time. I'm a visiting tutor and I'm a technician, both part-time. So particularly I'm not affected, but I'll give you this example. Ruth, she works in the design department with me. She's the main secretary there. I know the hard work that she does. She's got 2 kids. It means she's going to be away for a whole full year with parent leave, with compassionate leave, whatever it is.
If the decision remains as it stands at the moment, we've got to look at every single case with compassion and concern. That's all I'm saying.
I think what we're asking is that we can have a platform to talk about
I haven't got a problem right now. We'll have it in a year's time, and I will not stay in this university. I will not work here. I am an investment. The ESRC invested in me, and you will lose me. What do you say to all the students that have spent 4 years
here, and my teaching is evaluated very well every single year. They thank me for it. For 10 years I give 150%, and nobody has come to me and say, look, there's this issue, the nursery might close. It wasn't like that. It was, it's closing in 2 months, and then you sort it out. And that is really, I'm
sure you're aware, there was a working group which involves users of the nursery to look at childcare provision. There have previously as well been attempts to look at other ways to provide the nursery. I think the idea that this is precipitous or that this has been done quickly is unfair.
No, the decision making to tell us is done quickly. I know that for 4 years the whole nursery debate has been on and on and on. I know that. What I'm saying is, the moment that you reach a decision, you told us you've got 2 months to move on.
Well, so there's a meeting tomorrow.
And that is very unrealistic. That is not common sense, because the world doesn't work that way. There's no nursery that it opens in 2 months. That's my point. So we need a whole year at least.
Every single child
can I challenge what you...
a nice and decent
Every single that is 30 children. That is actually the point here. Yes, we're quite right. The nursery doesn't support the childcare needs.
Then expand it. Expand
And we've looked at the case and we cannot expand it.
Why not? Why not?
It doesn't.
Are you
break
taking pay
even.
rises this year?
No.
Why are you not? Why are you not spending on the nursery?
I think you were pointing out that the whole point was about £70,000, and I can promise you that I'll be the leader to fund those £70,000 in 1 year, and you leave that nursery open for a whole year. I'll make that money. I've got friends. I've got contacts. I'll make it. We'll all make it. We'll make those £70,000, but give at least that year. And during that year, one can focus on whether we should really close it down. And if your say is we're going to close it down, and you at least you gave us some time. We cannot adjust our lives like that. You know, nor our kids. They're young people. They need stability, and they need that movement to be subtle. You know, nobody has considered us, the kids, nor even the teachers. But in the point of view that I'm giving you today, in that sense, we haven't been considered, because I was called for a meeting 24 hours earlier or less. 24 hours. It's impossible. I've got so many things going on as well. I've got a life, I've got jobs, I've got freelance work, I've got a kid. Everybody does. You do as well, so you should understand that was the wrong approach. And we need a whole year to do that process.
Part of it is as well, if you think about the decision we've taken, we've got responsibilities to the staff who work in the nursery, we've got responsibilities to the people who use the nursery. Once you make a decision, it's incumbent on us to tell people as quickly as possible what that decision is. Otherwise, supposing we wait a
Where
week,
does the consultation go?
But you're not giving us an option. That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely, it was informing you of a decision we've taken. That is
So
giving
that's
us
not
an option would
consultation,
be
is it?
say was consultation.
giving us an option.
Right, so you
would
haven't
be,
had consultation,
let's leave
that
it
is what
open
you're
for a
saying.
year, so you can have that transition.
It's twisting and distorting.
Can I make a point for the benefit of the warden and you here? You said you took an informed decision. You've tried all ways to open this nursery. As somebody who's got a degree of expertise in this area, I can tell you now that your proposal to try and outsource this nursery last year and sell it off to another provider was so ill-conceived. It's no wonder nobody took it up, because nobody was in a position to take on 30 children. You had no idea of the market that you were dealing with. You hadn't researched it. You could have easily found out by taking advantage of the expertise within the college, in the area in the field of nursery education. There are other universities in London and elsewhere in the country that are running nurseries that are cost neutral. There's the scope to have explored at least finding additional space so you can open up a nursery that's bigger, putting the surplus places on the open market. There's a shortage of nursery provision across the country and in this area. There are huge possibilities that you haven't even asked about, considered, listened to. You need to research your market if you're going to take a step like this, not act on a whim and in basis of ignorance.
I think it's right on.
I don't. Well,
as someone who's
read that. You've got one.
I don't think that's fair to the. I mean, I can speak because I wasn't here for much of it. There has been at least 4 years of looking at the possibility of creating a bigger nursery, of us somehow becoming a nursery provider for Lewisham, which would seem a very odd thing for a university to do. But we did in a partnership. It's not that's their decision. And by the way, can I just say, rather than
allows them to give.
What exactly has been considered? There's been no expert
things that have been
consultants
described, but
that have been asked. No one with the working group. It was just nursery users, other members of student support, from representation from the unions. There was no expert consultant.
Well, there was an expert, wasn't there? Because there was the person who runs the nursery services at Greenwich University.
They do the student support, and it's a similar job to Alison Ahern.
And therefore, they have a nursery which runs, and therefore they do know exactly the trick that we talked about how to do it. So we have that person there to talk about.
I would sent you a proposal, and I took it apart.
But I want to say something else, which does not presume final conclusion. But if there are models that are viable and that solve some of these problems, the expertise in the college, etc., if you can think of a model that is viable and sustainable, that doesn't end up costing lots of jobs, frankly, in Goldsmiths, and makes the provision rather broader than the 30 children who benefit at the moment. If there is such a model, I am